don't listen to anybody. Listen to yourself. We care about what others think too much.
Yep.
And when you stop caring about what others think, then you actually escalate your skill set, personally, professionally. Your goals are your goals for a reason. They're nobody else's. No, excuse my language, but nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit what your goals are. Those are your goals to reach and nobody else's.
Yep.
Doesn't matter if you're married, doesn't matter whatever. Like, those are your goals. You gotta stay true to who you are.
No, 100%.
Don't listen to what anybody else tells you.
Damn.
I should have worn my beanie today. We would have been matching.
We'd have been matching beanie buddies.
I almost wore a black one, and Chris says I look like a hot trucker. So I'm like, no, I'm not wearing that today.
All right, Crystal, tell me what you do, where you work at, and any other basic information.
The question is, what don't I do?
Okay.
Yeah, so I work at 7th level. Wait a minute. Do I talk to this or you?
You talk to me.
Okay. 7th level with Jeremy.
I talk to this or do I talk to... What do I do? Go ahead.
I work for Jeremy Minor at 7th level as a senior account executive.
Okay, what does that mean?
So basically, Jeremy will send me over a number of somebody that has reached out, or I will go into some of his old leads and I will just start calling them, see how they're doing, and try to book them for a call, a strategy call, where we can see if there's something that an issue they have, a problem they have in their sales process that we can actually help them fix.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you work with different businesses that are coming in and they want to fix their overall sales strategy.
Yep. Maybe just that they're having trouble with objection handling. It may be that they're just not confident. They're not confident on the phone. They're not confident in person. And it's our job to figure out what the actual tangible problem they have is. Do we have the solution that can fix it? And if not, which direction do we point them if we do not have that solution for them?
This year's Winter Warrior is going to be at Harley-Davidson of North Scottsdale. The Winter Warrior is our charity to commemorate Mitch Winters, who took his own life in 2021. Mitch was a Marine veteran and Arizona police officer. What we do is put on a full day of fitness and community building. All of the money from this event goes to one local veteran family who we can completely change their life. The entrance to this event is a Winter Warrior shirt, and the cost is as much as you can donate. So it is completely a donation-based event. We just ask that you donate the money, get the shirt, and invite a friend to come with you. For more information, click the link in the bio, sign up, and meet us out here on February 22nd. Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay, so how did you get into that whole thing?
Long story. So
we got a long podcast. Go ahead and take it.
So my husband and I were working for a different company, and we had been there for 3 years. It was great. I mean, and we learned a lot about ourselves. My history is in healthcare for 19 years. So I went...
Healthcare as in what?
I was a dementia practitioner and a speech language pathologist. Had my own private practice in Florida. We moved to Arizona to work for this person. And things were up and down, up and down, up and down. It was a startup company. But it got to a point where Chris and I, we had goals that we had set for ourselves that we were unclear if staying with that company would take us where we wanted to go personally. So we decided to jump ship and decided to do our own thing. At that point, we opened our own company, which we do have, and we are running that company as well. So that is we have a leadership Zoom call that we do every week, and a school community through Alex Hormozzi's school.
Yeah. The school thing's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. So we do 2 Zoom calls a week with about 28 individuals, and we're continuing to grow that. We've only had it for a few months, but we've really had only like 2 or 3 cancellations, and that's it.
That's awesome.
So we teach leadership skills. They're structured calls. Chris and myself have owned businesses in the past. So one of the things that we got from people was, you guys should open your own, leadership school, or you should do your own leadership calls where you can teach people how to take care of their employees, how to take care of their mindset. A lot of different things that are involved with being a leader and an owner of a business. Also in management, how do you become a good manager of people while staying grounded yourself?
Yeah.
So those are things that Chris and I had to learn, over time, doing all the jobs that we have had in our past. And the cool thing with the last job is we learned that we learned something about ourselves. It was that we have this like really cool drive to just teach people everything that we have learned from our errors and our past mistakes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And because of that, we're getting people reaching out. We have people reaching out wanting to do one-on-one with us, which is really cool. And we can do that in the place that we're at now. We're allowed to do our own thing too.
Yeah.
As long as it's not, a contradicting.
Conflicting interests,
conflicting. And so since we work on, the sales training with 7th Level, we also have our own leadership thing that we do on the side as well.
So you went from medical care, you still have a leadership practice, and then you do sales professional training for outside organizations through 7th Level.
Yes.
I love that. Okay, so most of what I'm interested in, this is the conversations I like to have, is, so my skit is this, most people call them habits, right? Things that you do to stay on top of your game, perform optimally, those day-to-day things. I call them rituals, right? Because what they feel like to me is less habitual and instead ritual. Like when I'm going to go to the gym, there's like a mental preparation I go through. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
It's like, oh, this is the thing that I do for this. Or let's say when I'm going to bed at night before I go to sleep, I have this little like rich nighttime ritual that I go through. And I think that it's important to have those. They're not just things you like flick and do, but you're purposefully and intentionally doing them. So what are some of yours?
So it's funny that you say that because these are my necessities. They're my non-negotiables, not necessarily rituals. My non-negotiables are the gym. If I do not, and it's been hard with all the different changes we've had because we're moving. Excuse me, this is one of my rituals. So
chugging the water. I feel you.
And I'm very behind, as you can see. I usually put the times, and this is a new jug, so I need to just start chugging. Rituals, the gym. I have to get the gym in. Now, I am not a morning person. I hate mornings. I hate it. I've never been a morning person at all. And that probably comes from me doing competitions. I competed in bodybuilding for 5 years where I had to get up every morning at 3:30, 4 o'clock to get my AM cardio in and do my PM lifting. And then when I was close to the competition, there was a third. I had to get up and I had to do another cardio session late at night.
Yeah.
There's 2 cardio sessions in that, and I was doing bikini. So, that has made me just hate mornings. So I got into this thing where I was getting up and I was doing it in the mornings, but then I realized I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't sleeping good at night because my job was super stressful during the day. I was sitting. I'm gonna have to be on my feet. So my ritual is the gym. I have to get that in. Now I'm doing it midday.
And what does that look like for you? What does the gym look like?
So I vary it up. I don't do the same thing every week, okay? And the reason I don't is because I believe in that muscle confusion. Like you might lift heavy one week, then the next week you're doing lighter weights, you're doing higher reps, and then the next week you're going heavy again. I've seen the best results in my body by doing that. Because one, I love the feeling of being sore. I'm sick in the head. But also, I like learning new things. I get bored of gyms. If there's not cool equipment in there, I will leave. I'll go to a different gym, right? I've been known for having 2 or 3 different gym memberships just so that I can not get bored in the gym. And that's probably coming from being a competitor. And also, I was a trainer for 5 years. So I'm kind of a gym rat. Not a gym rat, but a gym snob, I guess I could say. Because I like my old school hammer strength equipment. I like, some of the things, this gym doesn't have that, right?
Yeah.
So when I say I have to get my gym in, I have to lift. I can go without my cardio because I know for a fact the older I've gotten, and the research shows that, the lifting is the best anyway for you. So yeah, you got to get some cardio in. I get that. But if you lift at the right way, you can get the cardio in too.
Yeah, you can get a little heart movement.
Yeah, so as long as I'm getting some weightlifting in, it helps my mind, right? And then it sets my body too. So I've learned that midday is best for me because I start to get tired midday.
Yeah.
And if I lift in the middle of the day, my energy levels go up.
You know, it's funny. I do the same thing. I think kind of for a different reason. I am a morning person. So I find that real early in the morning, I don't know, let's say 5:30 or 6 o'clock is like when I'm the sharpest mentally. So I want to do all of my big creation work. Like, you know, we shoot content, so like writing content or like sales stuff or like marketing stuff that we write, you know, ads or whatever that stuff is. And I'm also alone. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's 6 a.m. is the only time where people can't fuck with you. And that's like my time to do it. Which then makes it tough. But yeah, I like my gym time. Same thing, like noon or 1.
Yep.
And then I like get a little pick me up. I feel good. And then I can go kind of like again for the rest of the day.
Yep. And that's exactly what I did this next week is I blocked off my calendar at work where nobody can schedule me anything from 11 to 2.
Yeah.
And the reason I did 11 to 2 is I have 2 dogs. So with the gym that we're going to be going to, like it's close enough to work, close enough to my house where literally I can go to the gym, I can go home, I can freshen up, let the dogs out, and then I can still get back to work on time for my 2 o'clock calls and then working from 2 to 7. Yep. My creative brain is the same as yours, is that I wake up, still going to wake up at 4:30. That's the time I just always wake up, 4:30, 5 o'clock. I don't like to talk to people during that time though. I like to go on, I like to send my DMs, I like to send grateful messages to people, because my people on the East Coast. Because there it's 7:30, right? Everybody's already up, going, right? So I'll send grateful messages out to clients, to friends. I send 25 out every single morning.
Wow.
Every single morning. Sometimes there's more. It just depends on, you know, how good my mood is and how I'm flowing that day.
Yeah.
So the grateful messages every morning, that's also a must.
I was about to say, so that's a second ritual as well.
Yeah. So the grateful messages have been amazing for not just me, but my husband. It's something he taught me. So I send them out to, let me turn this off. So something he taught me is how to keep our clients happy and let them know that we truly care, right? And then those grateful messages don't just go out to clients. They're random. So I will literally, in my phone, I will type A, B, C, and whatever names pop up, those are the ones I send the messages to.
Yep. No, absolutely.
And then if I notice, I'm like, okay, who have I not sent a message to? I'll scroll back in my phone all the way for like a year and see who I haven't
See who
messaged.
you need to reach out to. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. It's been a minute since we talked. I've been super busy. No excuses. How have you been? That's it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's amazing when you do that, how people are like, wow, she didn't forget about me. No, I didn't forget about you. I'm just busy like we all are, right? And then sparking up those conversations with people that you haven't had in a long time. Like I said, those are that's another ritual.
So yeah, so like a fitness one, right? And then a gratitude kind of one.
Yes,
what else do you have? What's another one in there?
A non-negotiable is, and this has been really hard for us switching jobs and with all the moving parts we have, but trying to spend an hour of time that is not devoted to work with my husband. So, you know, we're both calling each other out on it. So like when we go on a date night, there's no phone.
Yeah,
it's an hour, no phone, good. Right? Or if we're at home like we are this evening, we're packing. It's our last day to pack because I said, I'm packing everything tonight. I've bought paper plates. I bought all this stuff because this week we're going to cook, but I'm going to have one pan, this. And I don't want to have to pack this week. We're moving on Saturday. I really want to work and make money.
Yeah.
So we've decided, you know, no phones at a certain time. Between this time and this time, we're going to help each other pack and get it all done. And then we'll get back on the phones together. And then we'll spend an hour before bed together as well.
Yeah.
So that at least an hour a day with not talking about work because we work together. So I don't want the relationship to be one of those where it is only work-based. And that's something I learned from Emily Frisella. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So Emily did
Yeah, she does seminars and stuff like that.
She does one a year. But for me, I reached out to her to do a business coaching and she told me no. And I kept on her until finally she said yes. And this was last year. So she sat with me and we had a pretty big heart-to-heart because I'm a lot like her and Chris is a lot like Andy. And she realized, she goes, you're me 7 years ago. So she said, what you have to do is you have to basically put aside an hour to just talk.
Yeah.
because if you don't, at the end of the day, if business fails, you have no relationship if your relationship is based off of business.
Yeah.
She said, and then she goes, all businesses don't make it. She goes, I'm not saying yours won't. She said, but
A lot don't.
at the end of the day, if you don't have the relationship and your best friend that you can talk to about anything and have a true solid relationship, you know, when the business goes, you have nothing left.
Yeah. No, it's very real.
So I was like, wow, that's super powerful. And then she gave me strategies for Chris and I to use as a couple working together. Since her and Andy work together, she was just saying it's different, you know, when you don't have kids and you just, you know, it's just you and him, you know.
Yeah.
So
You guys don't have kids?
nope, no kids, don't want any. We have dogs. That's our kids, and they're.
I say kind of the same thing. I got 2 dogs, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm more than enough.
Everybody that knows us knows we treat our dogs better than most people treat their kids. So
Yeah.
I mean, they have clothes. They have. I
Oh
mean,
God.
we have a pit lab, and she likes to go swimming. So we literally get a house with a pool so she can go swimming.
Same. One of mine, the little girl, she will every day. She'll jump in that pool 3 times a day.
Oh yeah.
Paddle around.
Yep.
Come back out. Like it's just like clockwork. It'll be freezing out there, and she'll still do it. I don't understand.
Well, Gracie won't do it. She's a diva. She won't do it when it's cold, but she won't get in the pool unless we're in the pool.
Oh.
So she's very attached to me because I mean, going backwards, I got her whenever I was going through stuff. So I have like history of PTSD and a lot of stuff and trauma in the past. So I got her when she was 8 weeks old. Now she's 8 years old. So I've had her 8 years.
Yep.
So, yep.
I'm about the same with my guy too. Got him when he was a little baby. I've had him now for like 7 years, and he is actually my best friend.
Isn't that
Like
crazy?
I say it, and people, you know, I don't think some people understand, but like literally, sometimes I'll just like be frustrated, and I'll just talk to him, and I'm like literally talking to him.
Only dog people understand that.
I know.
I think like people will say to us because we pick Gracie up. She's 65 pounds, 70 pounds, and they'll be like. I mean, even Matt and Jasmine, they'll come over or they know how we are with our dogs. It's like they have bins of toys. They have like clothes. They have
Everything.
They sit on the couch and watch TV with us.
Yeah, totally.
They sunbathe. We'll open the doors. They'll just go lay out in the sun. It's kind of crazy.
Okay, so I got 3 things right there, and now there has to be more. Are there other things that you feel like are ritualistic to you? You do continuously, and they kind of help keep your mind in the right place.
To be honest, I am in the middle of, because with the shift change and then us working from home and now we're in an office that's far from the house, and it's just there's a lot of things that I'm having a difficult time with because realistically another ritual is meal prepping, and for me I have not stuck to that and it's ticking me off.
Yeah.
So I don't
Nutrition is a hard one.
I don't like to buy meal prep from companies. It has nothing to do with the companies. It has to do with the fact that I want to know what's in my food and I want to cook it myself.
Really?
The convenience of having meal prep is great. And maybe I'll switch over to that eventually.
I was about to say, I couldn't be more the opposite. Like
I don't like to cook and clean it up.
Yeah.
But what I had learned is, one, it is cheaper to do it yourself. For the most part. However, the time it takes to do it, I could be putting up more money.
Yeah, so it's not cheap.
So it's really not.
No, it's not cheap.
So
Paying yourself
Yes.
to do minimum wage work is dumb.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I was sitting there thinking, you know, when we moved to Scottsdale, which, you know, we have a few people that have told us, you know, some different companies to try. I just want to go buy the meat. Like, because you know, just if I can just go buy the meat pre-prepared. And I'm smart in the fact, well, maybe it's not smart, but I just buy the steamable vegetables. I just like steam them, throw them in there.
No, you know what's funny? I'm not far off that. I buy the prepackaged, like pre-cooked chicken, big packets of rice, and it's just like, I don't care. Just go. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I will do that a lot. And you're right. Vegetables and stuff is almost like I don't do vegetables as much. I'll keep fruit. And that way it's like, it's cold. I can eat it. It's like my little snack after I get done eating, you know what I mean? Bland chicken and rice.
Well, and I've noticed too with the nutrition and everything, there's always these new things coming out about nutrition. But for me, I've tried different things, and I've had trainers, I've had people work with me in the past, and, you know, it seems like the older we get, it's like the more that you just need to continue to increase your protein, because it's like for me, I've noticed when I'm not
All the
eating,
time.
I'm eating the protein and the fat, that my body looks horrible. So I noticed decreasing my carbohydrate intake and actually increasing my meat and my fats. Actually, I look and feel better. So
Yep.
I'm in the middle of shifting all that too. So it's like I have all these things going on, but nutrition is I would say a non-negotiable at this point. I have to switch it back over to what I know works.
Yeah.
And
you know what I think most of it is people put so much time and energy into like what workout they're doing and when do they go and that they get it every day and how many reps and how many sets and all this stuff. Then you ask them about like what they're eating and they're like, well, I don't know.
you can go.
You know, and it's like, oh, you know, if you hierarchy of your level of importance.
You can work out 3 or 4 times a week and get great nutrition and have better results than
Than
somebody in the
everybody.
gym 6 or 7 times.
Yeah, totally.
You know, I've learned that, and I had a coach, Jennifer Strobo. She was a IFBB pro figure competitor. I had her for 5 years, and I recently used her for about 6 months. It was my fault, not hers, but I kept falling off. I wasn't staying. I almost need somebody like physically to hold me accountable, like just face to face, instead of somebody that's so far away.
No, I agree.
Because of my busy schedule. So she knew, because she's in her 40s as well. She's like, dude, you're working out too much. You're snacking too much, and the reason you're snacking is because you're malnourished.
Yeah.
Because you're not providing your body the right foods. She's also a licensed nutritionist. Like she knows her stuff, right?
Yeah.
So the minute I shifted all that, within a week my body looked different, and I'm like, and now I'm back to we fall back, and it doesn't matter how good you are, everybody falls off at some point, even if it's just for a couple of days, right? Everybody falls off for a few days. But as long as you get back on it, tomorrow's a new day, and you get back on it, you can change everything.
You know what's funny I've noticed over time is I can keep a streak, and I actually keep a counter on my phone. It's the app that I use. I will work out every single day. I will hit 200 grams of protein every day. I will get my soup. I mean, I'm like a fucking robot. I will never stop until there's always like somebody's birthday, right? And you go out and you have a couple drinks.
Yep.
And you fucking, you know, you go to Vegas, you do this thing, whatever. As soon as that happens, I'm fucked for like 5 days. And then it, you know what I mean? It takes that whole week to get back in the cycle.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I guess I just can't ever have fun again now. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? It's
the thing is that people will say no alcohol, no alcohol. Okay, alcohol is bad for you, yes, okay.
Yeah.
But every now and then have a glass of wine. You know, like I'm not about like going and getting hammered, but you know, every now and then I like to have a glass of wine with steak, you know, or you know, just a vodka soda with steak. Like every now
I
and then.
totally agree with you. It just, I know myself, and that's what ends up happening. And then it's such a struggle for me to like get back on. Do you mean? Because the next day when you're hungover, you just want like that bacon cheeseburger fries. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh God, you just want it. You want it so
that's
bad.
That's like my favorite cheat meal is give me a burger and fries. I'm a simple girl. And what was crazy is when I used to compete, I couldn't keep weight on because I never came off. For 5 years, I never went into an off season, which is extremely rare, not healthy at all. But every 12 weeks, I was competing for 5 years.
Yep.
And because of that, I couldn't even, my weight just continuously dropped. At my lowest point, I was like 113 pounds.
Yeah, just
That's
nothing.
Way too small.
Yeah.
Like, I was a size 0 and I looked sick. And I think for women, like it's you have to give yourself grace and come off, because if you don't, it's going to age you so quickly. Like, and the cool thing about that is when I did that, I learned a lot about myself, nutrition and myself. It's like you can do whatever you put your mind to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the sales stuff that you do, sales, training, coaching, that side of it. What do you feel like helps you stay sharp with that? Because that is like a consistent drumbeat.
So one of the other rituals that I'm initiating, this is a new thing for me, is I need to do 30 minutes of training every single day. 30 minutes.
What does that mean?
So with Jeremy, he has Lightspeed VT, so a training system.
No, yeah, I know
we
that,
sell
yeah.
our customers, and not just that, but watch it. Okay, let me go backwards. He gives all of his staff access to what the customers have access to. So how can you sell a product that you don't know yourself?
Yeah.
Or that you're not using? The cool thing about his methodology is I'm kind of geeked out by it, because what I did in my past with the 19 years in healthcare, I was a brain specialist. I worked with people that were dying, people that had dementia, Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease. Like, I hit stuff that nobody wanted to work with, okay? So I know how the brain works. Well, when I figured out that his methodology was based off how the brain works and how to psychologically ask questions to get people to come up with their own answers and their own solutions to their problems by you just asking the right questions, I was like, whoa, this is like some crazy good stuff.
Yep.
So studying the proper questioning that you ask clients, how to get into their brain so that you can help them come up with their own solutions. That's what I mean by studying.
Yeah.
I want to study the methodology, 30 minutes a day. I've even, I've found it hard because there's so much time in a day, right? And I'm like, at the end of the day, I had no time to study. So when I was talking to Jeremy, he said, use your car as your university. He says, it doesn't matter if you take notes. He goes, just listen every day on your way to work.
Yeah.
He goes, because
I agree with that.
eventually it'll just go into your brain.
So it's the educational piece.
Yes.
Yeah, the daily educational
Because
stuff.
if you're not, it doesn't matter what you do, right? If you feel like you know it all,
You already kind of lost the battle.
you have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
So I'm addicted to learning. 100% addicted to learning. I have books. Books are good. I've read half of them. Some of them I haven't read, but I heard they were good books. The issue is with books is you have to physically read them and you have to take notes and you have to put it into practice.
The audiobook happens to you,
Yeah.
which is just different. You're kind of there absorbing rather than actively reading and taking a step in it.
So I think 30 minutes of learning a day,
Yeah.
whether that be listening to him on YouTube. And I feel like you should pick only a few people. And the reason I say that is there's so much out there. Like if you're going to do mindset, like for mindset for me is totally Andy Frisella. I've been Andy Frisella since, everybody that knows me knows Crystal's Andy Frisella 8 years. Like she is, I post him.
Dyed in the wool.
Oh, some people don't like him. Some people do. I love him. I know what he stands for. I'm right there with him. Same thing with Emily. But as far as like mindset goes, if I'm going to listen to mindset, I'm going to go him.
Yeah.
Him or Ed Milet. Because they're best friends. So it's like those two, love mindset with them.
Yep.
And if I'm going to learn sales, it's straight going to be Jeremy. Because of the methodology, I totally get it.
So I want to talk to you about sales stuff real quick.
Okay.
So here is a thing that in being in the business world, do sales, all that stuff. We do it in retail.
Yep.
We do it online, do the whole thing. I have a problem with the way a lot of it works, right?
Okay.
But I want to explain what I mean, okay? So the analogy that I use all the time is, what is the difference between 15th century nude Francesco, right? So a nude portrait of a woman and a video on Pornhub. Both a naked girl, right?
Fair enough.
Both is a naked girl.
Fair enough.
But you know that there's a difference. You know there's a difference between the two. But it's kind of hard to say, like, what is the difference? But you know in your heart, you have this feeling that, like, one is, like, artistic and it's, like, done with good intention and it's all those other things. The other one is pornographic. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, there's something just, like, kind of not good and sticky and gross about it. So when we talk about sales, there is like this level that I view where, like at my company, it's really important. And I teach all of them that we never sell anybody anything, right? And I think you're probably on that. Everybody gets the concept. But there's this line of like asking the right questions and, you know, helping the person out and building trust. And then also asking questions to like manipulate and to get somebody to do something they wouldn't have otherwise done.
Or I think it's all in the language too, like manipulate. I don't like that. I try to, so if you made a list of negative words and took that out of your sales process, like manipulate, follow up.
Yeah.
These are like no-nos. Follow up, manipulate. I don't know, like there's a list. Like, I mean, I could provide them to you. I just don't have them in front of me.
I know what you mean.
But, you know, I don't know what question you're asking.
Well, because there is this part to me, right? The best long-term strategy, right, is always to just really care about people.
Exactly.
Want them to see the best results. And if you have the best product that's going to help them get that result, you can communicate openly about it.
Of course.
And so, but that's what I mean is like there are, because I don't know actually the sales training that you guys do. I don't know any of them. But I know there's ones where I see and it's like, they're training you how to get people to do things. And that's not the same as showing what you have and how it can solve a problem.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is asking the right questions to get them to realize what problem they have. And then in your eyes, tell me what you feel you're missing.
Yeah.
That could get you the results that you're looking for.
Absolutely.
Okay. So when you say that, people are like, oh, well, I don't know. That's why I called you. Okay. Fair enough. So just let's dive a little deeper. How is your nutrition doing?
Yeah.
Right. Well, it's okay. Okay. How?
Yeah.
The less you say, the better. You let them just word vomit. And I think that women, and this is nothing to be sexist or whatever, but I think women do better at this than men in the fact that we have that nurturing, caring, loving, motherly thing where, and my husband will even tell you that, and even in my past job, people will tell you, Crystal has this weird thing where people just vomit everything. Like they just tell you everything.
Yeah, they feel comfortable around you, so they feel open to be
But I
around.
think that's the other thing. In the first 12 seconds of a conversation, when you can logically disarm somebody, what will happen is they will start telling you more than you ever thought they would tell you.
Yeah.
And how to logically disarm is getting somebody to laugh, getting somebody to smile, getting somebody to just literally, and you know, Jeremy will even say, don't ask how your day's going because they know you don't care. Well, I do. I ask because I do care.
Yeah.
So for one, if I ask you how your day's going and you're having a shitty day, I know I'm going to have to work even harder to get you to realize what issue you have and why you actually reached out, right? But if you're having a great day, that's also lets me know, okay, I'm going to have to work a little harder to get to a pain point, right? Because sometimes people buy when they're in a positive state, but a lot of times people buy when they realize they're at risk of future pain.
Yeah, they see the pain coming.
Yeah.
Totally.
So it's the pain they have now, and then they see the future pain. That's when you're most likely to get people to buy.
Yep. Well, so for me, it's like that I just see a lot of the rise that, of course, is going to happen with the internet, right? You're going to get the good and the bad. And a lot of times the bad is flashy. That's what makes it popular, right? And so then we end up with a lot of these sales gimmicks, marketing tricks, blah, 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 like these things.
We see it.
When in reality, and this is the way I view it, is like I have these concentric circles, right? So on the outside is sales. That's you talking one-on-one to people. Then in there, you have marketing, right? So you got to market to be able to get the people on the sales call. But at the very center, you have a product. And mostly, 9 times out of 10, if your marketing and your sales sucks, it's because you got a shitty product and you're trying to fix shit that isn't the actual problem.
Yeah.
You need to fix your fucking product because your product isn't helping people. So now you're trying to sell something that isn't really...
It's never a lead problem. It's always a product problem.
It's almost... now,
9 times
well,
out of
9
10.
times out of 10.
Yeah.
There are times that there are people who have a good product and they literally just don't know anything about sales.
Right.
And so, okay, I actually do need help. I don't... What the fuck do I do?
Right.
Or a lead funnel system. Like they don't even understand, the process of how it goes. So, when I go online and I see some of these guys that are the big sales guru guys, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is what I don't like about that is that gives the normal consumer the concept that that's what's happening to them. And it really is. Like, I would say 80% of the training that I do for my team is how to stop trying to sell people, right? Like, how to just actually figure out what are they currently doing and tell them that they're doing a really good job so that way they're motivated to take the next step to do the next thing, right?
And you never want to crush somebody for trying to do something. So one of the things I've learned, and just in the last 3 years, not just with the current company, but is, if I have somebody that reaches out and I say, okay, so tell me what you've been doing so far to target this issue that you're having, right? What have you been doing up to this point? Well, okay, I purchased, we'll just say a name, like Grant Cardone. I purchased his training, right? Okay, and how's that going for you? Well, it's going good. Okay, good how? Good as in it's doing the X, Y, Z, right?
Yeah. What is the outcome?
What is the outcome? Like, what has that done for you? Well, I've been able to book more appointments. Okay, you've been able to book more appointments. How many of those booked appointments are you closing? And they're like, oh, well,
5%.
Right.
Yeah, nothing.
Oh, well, that could be a problem. And okay, so if you're only closing 5%, let's get a calculator, see how many you're missing, right? And then you get them to do that numbers game. You're like, holy crap, I'm missing this much money, right? And then finally, it's like, okay, so what do you feel you're missing from that training? First, I want to give you props for actually going out and doing training, because it lets me know that you're really willing to
learn.
change.
Yeah.
You're wanting to change. But what are you missing from there that you feel like you could get from us? Let's see if we even have anything that would help you.
Yeah, totally.
Because I don't know that we do.
So you guys, do you have like I'm assuming so, but I don't know. Is it like you have a system for a natural sales process, right? And then that can kind of be applied to any industry.
It can be applied to any industry. It's not industry specific. So it's a training system that people get for 12 months. And it literally teaches you. So his methodology is the NEPQ, neuro, emotional, persuasive questionings, how to, logically disarm prospects. And we call it ABD, always be disarming. Throughout your whole sales process, right?
Yeah.
But it goes through every single phase.
That's funny because we call it decreasing tension.
It's the
same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah.
So he goes through every phase in detail about what to do, what questions to ask, how to ask them, what to do ifs, and then there's examples of objection handling. In every industry, the majority, I got to talk to my wife. It's always a money objection. I don't know if I can afford it. I don't know what my budget is. Like, in every industry, you get those same objections, right? So how do we handle those objections? But if we know what objections we're going to get from the get-go, we can already combat those. And he teaches you how to do that in our sales system.
Yep.
So it's pretty cool, because when you bring up the money objection in the very beginning and you kind of squash it, then you're not going to have. You might get it again at the end, but
rarely. Yeah.
It's rare. Yeah.
No, totally. So, okay, let's go top of the line. So we went through these things that are rituals for you, right? How do you feel like those things affect your work performance? Like when they dip, or if they don't, or if they're done right or not done right?
Always. And if somebody says that your rituals do not affect your work performance, they're lying.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that, if I can get my rituals down, I'm in such a better mood. I perform way better. My calls and my conversations with the clients and prospects, so much better.
Yeah.
And to be honest, the rituals we have, and the reason too for me changing up my schedule to put my workout in the middle, if I'm making a ton of calls in the morning and I feel like I'm not getting anywhere, and then I go do something positive for myself in the middle of the day, I come back with a positive attitude and I get back on the phone.
And then it seems to just work better.
Yeah, it just seems to work better, right?
Yeah, so much of it is, I think for me, it's exactly what you're saying is, I could be doing something and like it's not working, and then I do my workout or I meditate or whatever the thing is, and it's like I just gravitate like better energy. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
My smile's just better. Something better. I don't know what changed, but clearly something did.
Right.
Because now I'm doing the same shit again, and it like is just working better.
And it's the same thing with like my dogs. So we can bring our dogs to work because I do have a service animal. But Jeremy's been really cool. Like we have dog beds at our office. Our office has a door, so we bring them. Everybody loves our dogs, so we bring them in. And sometimes it's if you're having a bad day, that's another non-negotiable, spending quality time with my dogs outside of just them being
The puppy ritual. I feel you.
there's got to be at least 30 minutes to an hour just sitting with them, petting them. I give Gracie a doggy massage every day, so spending the time with the dogs.
Yep.
But when they're in the office or if I go home and they're at home, it totally brings my mood right back up again.
Yeah. No, I feel you.
Yeah, it's something about dogs. And
Mine's a
animals.
late night walk with my guys, and they're all excited about it, seeing their butts wagging.
Well, I can't do that in Fountain Hills because there's coyotes everywhere right now. And I have one little guy who's 25 pounds.
They get gobbled right up.
We rescued him from Mexico, from the streets of Mexico.
Oh my God.
It's a long story. But he's doing very well. He's adjusted very well. He went literally from rags to riches overnight.
Doing
so
great.
it's kind of crazy. Yeah.
Okay, Crystal, I'm going to stop us there, but what I need from you is just two things real quick. So one, how can anybody get a hold of you? And then secondly, if you had one piece of advice for women to be as productive as possible for themselves, what would be your go-to thing to give to them?
Okay, so you can contact me. My phone number, I'll just give my personal number out because you can just text me and say, help me, or hey, my name. My number is 386-853-0500. You can also follow me on Instagram because I do respond to all my DMs on a daily basis.
Okay.
It's at _official_Mrs. Steinbrook.
Say that one more time.
Yeah, I know, right?
Say that again.
It's at _official_MRS_Steinbrook.
Steinbrook. Okay. Got it. All right. Give us some advice to some young chicks.
My advice is don't listen to anybody. Listen to yourself.
Damn, that's pretty good. That's pretty damn good.
Yeah, because, I mentor women. I do mentor women in business, and I have some people that have really started reaching out to me, and it's crazy how women, especially women, tend to listen to everybody else. We care about what others think too much.
Yep.
And when you stop caring about what others think, then you actually escalate your skill set personally, professionally. Your goals are your goals for a reason. They're nobody else's. No, excuse my language, but nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit what your goals are. Those are your goals to reach and nobody else's.
Yep.
Doesn't matter if you're married, doesn't matter whatever. Like, those are your goals. You got to stay true to who you are.
No, 100%.
Don't listen to what anybody else tells you.
Damn. Yeah, that's good. All right. So, guys, I'll go over here. This is Aggressively Balanced with the Viking. Thank you guys for listening. If you got anything good from this, good value, please share it, tag, ask a question, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks, guys.